Welcome everybody to the seasonal diet, eating what our ancestors ate when they ate it, like we were evolved to do. Today we are speaking about cheese, a very important part of the diet for most humans around the world, but especially in the north of Europe. Right now in the early spring is actually a very difficult time of year in our history. There are no fruits and vegetables growing, and it doesn't make much sense either to be slaughtering your livestock at this time to eat after we've cared for them all winter and we're just about to turn them out to the fields to graze for the first time in a long while. So at this time, the dairy in our diet would be at the top season of the year here, just because there was not much other food choices around at this time. Cheese is a great way to get this that has been used by people for thousands of years. In fact, we have records among the Germanic peoples that wild hunted game and cheese was actually most of their diet. This source here is from about 2,000 years ago, but how old is cheese and how long have humans been eating it and where? And how was it eaten in your ancestry at certain times of year? So the oldest written records we have of, kind of the invention of cheese, or at least the first mentions of it, comes in the Greek epic Odyssey by Homer, 800 BC, where the Cyclops in the story was basically making and storing cheese from sheep's and goat's milk in that story. That's the oldest clear written record we have that we are definitely sure is cheese, and that's almost 3,000 years ago, but of course cheese is a lot older. We have some archaeological evidence from ancient Egypt of cheese making dating to about 2000 BC, but even further back there's some evidence dating to 5500 BC, and that is actually in present-day Poland, really, where strainers coated with milk fat molecules have been found. So we're pretty sure that is cheese too, more than 7,000 years ago, and like I said, made in the north of Europe. Makes sense. People in the cooler, darker north of Europe would have had much higher need for cheese in the wintertime, even 7,500 years ago. But honestly, most scholars have actually estimated cheese making to be done at least 10,000 years ago, when humans first started domesticating cattle and sheep. They actually think that cheese making was discovered accidentally by storing milk in a container made from the stomach of an animal. And of course, we know humans made storage and pouches from different parts of the animals, and that gives it basically the perfect environment, resulting in the milk being turned to curd. So there is today a million different ways to make cheese, but it all comes back to the same process, really. It's coagulated milk. As long as humans had a tit to squeeze and a place to store it, cheese has been in our diet. And as for which season, winter and spring, we would see the most of that eaten, along with all other dairy, really. This is when the livestock would be in close to us in the winter time. When we turn the cow out for the summer, it's a lot harder to chase it down, chase the damn thing down the field all across the mountains and stuff, and squeeze its tits for milk. So of course more cheese in the winter and spring, when the animals would have been in close proximity, and we would have had more of a need for this type of thing, like I mentioned before, that not much other foods would be growing around. So I really eat a ton of cheese at this time of year that we're in now. My doctor is definitely not happy with me, and yours probably won't be either, so I definitely can't recommend it. But what I might say is that it is cool. If you're gonna eat cheese, it's good to get a good variation. Don't just have regular cheese, but try some sheep or goat's cheese, as our ancestors would have done. And probably the more of it you further go north in your ancestry, and then really when we look at the modern data of cheese consumption per capita, things have not changed that much. People in the northerly places in the world eat more cheese, as is natural. So that is the history. Hope you enjoyed.